cheese and crackers. Hey, we made a fire. Welcome back to another episode of My Legacy Garage. Today, 1967 GMC C20 with a 305 big block V6. That's not something you see every day. We're going to see if we can make it run after we don't know how long. It's been in this condition for at least 7 years. That's what the guy I bought it from told me. And he said it didn't run when he bought it, and he didn't know how long before he had bought it hadn't run. But judging by the looks of things, it's been a hot minute since this thing saw any sort of combustion internally. This was part of a bunch of parts vehicles that I bought all off of one guy on a farm not far from here. And I brought it home, drug it off the trailer right to here, and it hasn't moved since. So today is the day we're going to see if this motor is any good or if it's just an anchor. If you haven't seen the video where we pulled these out of there, it's worth a gander. Go ahead and put a card up here if I can figure out how to do it. Up here, over here, I don't know. I'm not sure. I'll figure it out. Not the most, technologically minded person ever, but I can do this, so let's make it happen. I have never messed with one of these big block V6s before. They look weird. Spark plugs are down in there. Of course, we're trying to keep, the water out of it. It doesn't look like it has run in a long time. I mean, yeah, I'm gonna say that's been a long time since she had any sort of action. That water pump doesn't move at all. That doesn't bode very well for the rest of it. And alternator's free. How about that? I guess the first thing we need to do is put something on that crank and see if this thing's even going to turn, or if we're going to have to soak it. 15/16 socket here. We're going to find out. Oh boy. That's probably not good. What about the other way? Nope. Oh boy. I mean, we're not really surprised, are we? It's sat out in the rain for who knows how long. Not even sure why they took the front clip off of it, because the fenders and stuff are still in the bed, so it's not like they used anything. Maybe the hood? That's not here. Core support? Can't imagine that was any good. I don't know. Either way, it's my problem now, so let's see if we can clean this intake off and pop these plugs out of there and squirt some, I don't know, vinegar, WD-40, PB Blaster, Marvel Mist Oil, ATF, I don't know, put something in there, see if we can't get her to free up. Yeah, let's do that. If I'm being honest, this may be the dumbest design for spark plugs that I've ever seen in my life. Allow me to explain. The spark plugs all sit down in this valley, and then down in a hole even on top of that. And the problem with that is, I can't even see it on camera. The issue is that they are all rusted to the point where you can't even get a socket on them. They just disintegrate. So we're going to have to come up with a different plan for this thing, because we're not going to get the plugs out of it. That might mean it's death sentence, but, we'll see. There's other ways. Let's take this off. This off. Oh, that's pretty bad down there. Mm-hmm. There's cobwebs, all sorts of stuff. That's awesome. May need to take this carburetor clean off. Get it off over here so we can vacuum the intake out, and then we're going to spray some oil right down in the cylinders and let it sit for a little bit, and then we're going to hook a battery to it and just see if we can brute force it over. pretty rusty in there, sure is. Let's vacuum some of the goop out. It's pretty grody down in there. Well, I don't have high hopes for getting any oil down in those cylinders, if I'm being honest. But we're gonna give it the old college try. Let's put a little WD-40 in there too. And now, we're gonna hook a battery up while that soaks a little while. And we're gonna crank it, see what happens. So I see there's a cable connected to the starter there. And that's this thing right here. And it'll work, I guess. But looks like the ground wire got cut. So we're gonna have to take that off and put a new wire on there before we can even think about trying to crank this thing. I guess that's the next step. And then I gotta go rob a battery from something. Snagged this cable from an old boat motor in the shop. Freebie! Alright then, let's get a battery. I took the liberty of running a signal wire back to the starter. And those of you that have been around the channel for a little while, you might recognize this monstrosity. You know, my starter license plate. We're gonna just, you know, not hook any ignition power up or anything. We just want to see if it'll spin. So all we need is starter button and a battery. I don't even want to tell you guys where the battery came from. It's a little bit shameful. It's from the 55 Chevy. I stole it from the 55 Chevy, okay? I'm sorry. It'll go back. This is just a temporary thing, just temporary. All right, let's hook it up, see if anything catches on fire. Oh, I don't see any sparks. That's a good start anyway. I guess the next step is see if it spins. I went ahead and ripped that belt the rest of the way off of there because this water pump, she's a little spinny. I guess it's loosening up. There we go, look at that. Hey, let's hope that's a good omen, huh? Moment of truth. Oh yeah. Oh, she's slow, but she goes. Let's try to get some more lube down in there. All right, let's do it again. She's pretty stiff. Let's put a breaker bar on it, see what it feels like. Well, it moves now. Yeah, it's got a tight spot right there. I'm going the other way. Yeah, it's got one tight spot. More lube. We're gonna let that soak a little bit and see if we don't get a little better action out of it. Some time has passed. Let's try it again. Doesn't sound horrible. Let's try manually again. I mean, it goes the whole way over. That hard spot's gone. I guess that means it's time to try and see if it'll fire. There is virtually no chance that it actually has spark. I'm sure the points are toast. But that's not going to stop us from just spraying some flammable stuff in there and see what it does. Ran a hot wire to the coil. Let's see what happens. Pretty much exactly what we expected to happen. Here's the deal, y'all. I tried to take these wires off of this coil, but the issue that we're having is that those terminals are just spinning down inside the coil. They're not backing the nuts off. I'm gonna say that coil is toast, and we're gonna go ahead and put a good old genuine AC Delco unit on here and hook that up and see if that makes a difference. I mean, can't hurt, right? And also, I've got the screws soaking for that distributor cap because I'm pretty sure we're gonna need to get into the points as well. Negative side connects to the wire that goes to your distributor so that when the points open and it loses that ground, it actually shoots the power out of the coil right down into your distributor cap, which is then what, of course, powers all your spark plugs. So it's important that it's hooked up correctly, otherwise it's not gonna work. Go. Now let's hook up power. Coil wire hooked up to this coil instead of the crappy one. And let's see if we have any spark. Sparkage? Nope. Looks like we need in that distributor, folks. Well, we got the distributor cap off, and those points are rough. We're gonna get them cleaned up, and then we'll check for spark again. That sounds like a good plan to me. In the process of trying to clean these things, they broke the cap right off of that one. I guess that means we're done for today, because I can't go get parts for this thing right now. That's a bummer. We were getting pretty close. I bet you we could have got it to run today. It's not over though. We'll be back to her, don't worry. Of course, the downside to that is now I got to clean all this up, seal the motor up and everything, and then we're going to have to do it all over again another day after I get some points for it. What a drag, am I right? It's all right. That's why we do this, right? We enjoy it. I have fun doing it. Why don't you guys comment down below, let me know if you think this thing's going to run or it's not. Take this second in the video and just pop down there and do that real quick, and then come back and see what happens next time we work on it. It's about a week later. I've got points and a condenser. I think it's about time to put them in and see if we can't make this thing run. I finished taking the carburetor, you know, the rest of the way off. This thing's pretty rough. I don't know if there's any hope for it, but we'll at least shoot something down through the intake there and see if it pops off, makes noise, something. Then we can worry about a carburetor. Alright, let's get these put in. First things first, we've got to get this cover back off of here. Luckily, I only screwed one screw back down, so I didn't have to suffer through just horribleness of getting the one in the back loose. We've got the old points out. Now we just got to put the new ones in. I already stabbed the new condenser in there. Had to go to the parts store and get, you know, new points, because the ones they sent me, of course, they're not right. Why would they be? That would just make entirely too much sense, wouldn't it? Get this screw started on here, out, dropping it into oblivion. Alright, now let's get something we can turn this engine over with so we can get that thing up on its high point, and then we'll gap these points. Now that we've got the engine rotated around until this cam is on the high point on the distributor, we're going to go ahead and stick this piece of cardboard in here on the points, and we're going to tighten it down, and that's how we're going to gap them. There we are. Got that gapped. Now let's hook the wires up in there, and we should be in business. Alright, let's see what that does. Well, the new points are in. We should have spark now. All we have to do is test it. So we could pop a plug wire off and put a spark plug on it and ground it out and see if it makes spark. Or we could just shoot flammable stuff in it and see if it goes pop, 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 pop. I'm going to go with that plan. Step 1, energize the coil. Step 2, something flammable. Step 3, stand back and hit the starter. Didn't sound super promising, did it? Maybe we need to actually check for spark. Nah, let's just try it again. Alright, maybe we do need to actually check it for spark. Alright, let's check it for spark. No spark. Awesome sauce. Looks like we need to do some digging and figure out why we got no spark, because it sure isn't sparking. We're getting some minor ignitions. I think we just need to be patient. Let's try a little bit of this very oily two-stroke down in here. That could be a problem. Let's try that. try just sitting the carburetor on top of it. See if that doesn't create some vacuum, suck some of that fuel down in there. This thing is uber crusty and uber stuck, or I would put it back on there, but let's just see if this does anything. Let's check spark again. It was a little bit of a loose wire that I tightened up and got a spark out of it. It sure isn't acting like there's any spark now, is it? Nope. So I've got the distributor cap off of it, and if I crank it over, the points are working. It's actually arcing out up here at the coil wire. It is working. I think the issue is that our distributor cap is really crusty inside. And our rotor is not much better. So let's see if we can clean that up a little bit. And then we'll try this game again. Alright, let's try spinning it again and making sure we've got spark. Yep, I can see spark down there. So let's put this back on again and we'll try this game again. Alright, that sounds like a plan to me. Alrighty, right. Party time. Do 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 do. Do 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 do. Still not getting spark. Fantastic. We are out of time for today. Plus the neighbor's mowing the grass and it's going to be hard for y'all to hear me. Rest assured, we'll be back on this tomorrow and figure out why we're having spark issues. I suspect the points aren't gapped right. Just a hunch. We'll look at it tomorrow and see. See you then. I don't really remember where we left off with this truck, other than I thought maybe the points were a little bit off after I set them. I've been out here fooling with it a little bit, and it's been weeks. I think the other issue may be the carburetor not being on it may not be giving us enough suction to suck the fuel actually into the pistons. I'm not sure. I've never had that problem before. I've fired stuff just by shooting stuff in the intake before, but I don't know. Never tried it for a first start after who knows how long this thing's been sitting. I've been fiddling with it here a little bit. Let me show you what I've done, and then we'll see if we can get it to start. I have manually bored the engine over to get the points where I need them. I don't know if you can see that or not, but they look set properly to me. I guess they might be a little bit too spread out. I'm gonna tighten that up a little bit, reset the points, and then I think I'm going to bolt the carburetor back on it, which is sitting right there. I did get the butterflies open just a hair on it. They are open just a hair, but that should give us some velocity anyway going down into that intake. So let's get that all set up and then we'll see what we've got. Alright, we've adjusted these points up here. That looks like a pretty good gap to me. It's about 19 thousandths, so that should do. Now let's get this carburetor put back on here. First, let's get our distributor all put back together here. Our rotor cap in there. Cap put back on. Beautiful. I guess next is electric. Well, we just got to hook up to the starter here, and then, you know, we can do starter stuff. There you go, easy peasy. Left the coil wire on here. Don't need to rehook that up. I think we're good to just go for it and see what happens here. All right, let's do a spinny test to make sure that's good. Helps if you take that off of the crank, but you know, it came off. Uh-oh. Uh-oh. All right, let's put some fire juice in it. Warning, extremely flammable. I hope so. I lost me straw. Got it. Oh yeah. Oh, would you look at that? Guess it was the points, huh? Or maybe it was the carburetor. Maybe it needs a lot more. It was a good bit that I put down in there the first time. Let's see if that does anything. Come on, baby, you can do it. Come on. Fire! Why do we suppose it doesn't want to go now? Because it ran better than that first time it started. I think exhaust is plugged up maybe. We're not moving air. It's a distinct possibility. I didn't actually hear much when it fired. There also wasn't like a big cloud of smoke. I don't know about all this. Alright, let's try that. That's a lot. Let's try simultaneous. Well, that was some progress. Hey, we made a fire. I think we probably have some sticky valves, yeah? Let's try it again. Coming out of the exhaust. Look at that, the exhaust is still intact till right there, right before the tailpipe. I bet you it's all packed full of crap. That could be a problem. Well, it's coming out the back. Oh, it wasn't smoking though, which is weird, right? Like there should be smoke. This thing should definitely smoke. If anything's gonna smoke, this should smoke. But there's no smoke. I didn't think the exhaust was getting back there, but obviously it is. You could see the grass and stuff blowing back there, so I'm not sure what to make of that. I guess let's try it some more.
There you go. It runs. It's about out of brake clean too. I should buy stock in this stuff as much as I use it. Bummer. Well, how about that? It runs. Runs pretty decent, actually. Doesn't sound bad. Doesn't smoke. I'm pretty impressed, if I'm being honest. A carburetor is complete garbage. I mean, it's everything stuck on it. Nothing moves. You can't rev it up or anything like that. I'm wondering, should we track down a little carburetor for it, put on it, and see if we can't really get it to run? Is it worth it? I don't know. You guys tell me. Comment down below and let me know. And while you're at it, if you like this stuff, hit the like button. Helps us out. We really appreciate you showing the support for the channel. And if you really, really like it, hit the subscribe button with the little notification bell beside it so that you get notified when we put out new stuff and you don't miss anything fun. Helps the channel out, doesn't cost you anything, means a lot to us. We appreciate it. We appreciate all of you who watch our videos. I don't know, what should we do with this thing? You guys tell me. Do we go a little further? Do we go ahead and sell it? Do we put it in the boneyard for parts? What do we do with it? I don't know. I think I might be able to get a title for it. That opens some things up, but she is rough. I mean rough. I don't know. Comment down below. Let me know what you think. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Cut!